May it please the court. I'm Miranda Edwards. I speak on behalf of my client, Mr. Miller, as he's been sued for liability and injuries sustained when a woman entered a batting cage without a helmet. I would like to note that current liability laws only make someone responsible if a sporting event is in session, and when the injury was sustained, the sporting event had not been in session, it was during practice. Mrs. Smith has also been an asset to our team and her son's other team for many years, and she's known as team mom, which is basically another coach, meaning that she should be aware of everything a coach is aware of and have enough sense to know to wear a helmet when there are bats and balls flying around. She's been to at least 20 games this season, so she knows how it goes. Whether it was explicitly explained or not from my coach, she should have known better to walk in there. And my client did ask to speak with her on the day that the accident occurred, but he did not say right now. He did not say you need to enter the cage to speak to me. They could have spoken after the practice, and it had said in the facts of the case that he was always too busy on game days and practice days to speak with her, so she should have known not to try to approach him and speak to him during practice. It should have all been handled after the game. There are no signs to warn people against walking into a busy street or jumping out of a tall tree. So in the same way, she should have just known better than to do it. It was not my client's job to warn her not to put herself in danger. She's an adult and is responsible for her own actions. Furthermore, the fact that there wasn't a sign of batting cage should not be reflected on my client at all. That's on the other team's fault, and that could be a whole separate law case that we don't need to get into. Doctors have also ruled that the helmet would not have prevented her injuries. There are some dangers that are associated with sports that Mrs. Smith just has to be aware of when she puts her son and herself into that sport. A terrible accident has occurred, but Coach Miller is not to blame, and the Blue County Court has already agreed with us. For these reasons, we ask that the previous verdict remain affirmed.
Floor is open for questions.
Okay, Mr. Miller, is there anything being done in relation to another sign being put up?
That's at the other baseball field. That's not our baseball field, so I didn't know that.
Does our baseball field or your baseball field have signs put up?
Yes.
Did your son acknowledge Mrs. Smith's injury into the batting cage?
Please repeat.
Did your son acknowledge Mrs. Smith's entry into the batting cage?
Did he know she was in there and continue practicing?
No, not at the time, Your Honor.
Why did you call Ms. Smith to the cage when snaps were previously discussed?
Because I was, at the time, before the game, I had to prepare the meal, but at the time I had to take my wife to a medical examination.
Have you been in any other incidents besides this?
No, Your Honor.
Post-incident, has there been a safety meeting rescheduled?
Not at the time, no. Due to medical leave, well, not medical leave, but I was taking care of my wife who was sick with cancer.
I'm sorry.
Oh. How long prior to the injury was the safety meeting canceled?
Approximately 2 weeks.
Why did you not stop your son from practicing when you noticed she entered the cage?
I had not noticed that she entered the cage.
Why has there not been another safety meeting rescheduled yet?
His wife has cancer. It's not like his wife didn't have cancer before.
I don't know.
It's not like it just randomly came up. Hey, I gotta take 2 weeks
That's
out.
kinda how cancer is.
Hey, I gotta take 2 weeks out. My wife just randomly had cancer.
That's kind of how cancer is. I mean, you're not like.
He sent out a paper trying to see people's availability when people's parents worked to get the safety meeting scheduled, but he hasn't received all the papers back to know when the best time to reschedule the meeting was.
Was there not a possibility of sending out an email at minimum discussing safety issues?
There could, but he thought a paper would be a better option.
Could he not have scheduled one and the people that didn't come up, get to them another way?
the meeting wouldn't have been very effective if none of the parents came.
Well, most of them.
Well, what if Mrs. Smith would have been a parent that couldn't attend, and then the next week she walked into the batting cage and got hit in the head with the bat?
How do you know she's not a stay-at-home mom?
She could still have responsibilities and duties and miss the meeting.
That's fine, but.
That's why we sit down on paper.
You guys, they say you email each other quite a bit about snacks, like I told her about it.
Yeah, why couldn't you just email her?
Well, you could have told her about an email, but he doesn't have all the parents' email. That's why he's a papers on his team members.
Pretty sure as a coach, you're supposed to get all your parents' email before the season starts.
Well, irregardless, he's not responsible for a bat hitting her in the head because he didn't have every parent's email.
That hit the back, not the head, so.
I'm just saying if a meeting was canceled because due to weather, it seems like you could have tried really hard to get it back. Get a new one rescheduled. Not send a little piece of paper.
That was an intense for every parent to be able to attend the meeting.
Did he send the paper home to children? And then he expected it to get to the parents?
He did. He has faith in his team members. They're very responsible young men.
Oh, wait, oh, now I have a question for them. Oh,
Don't worry, you'll get time.
oh, okay, so I'll be able to ask?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Don't forget.
Okay. Oh, I'll try not to.
Okay. Are there any further questions for the respondent?
No.
No.
Not at this time.
Oh.
You don't laugh.
I'm sorry.
Alright, the petitioner may approach with their rebuttal.
Top two.
Okay. Mr. Smith, or Coach Miller, clearly said that he didn't know she was in there, but yet he asked her to come in there.
I object. No, he didn't.
Sustained.
She willingly entered the bat.
Sustained.
He had asked her
Order.
to speak to her, and she's the one that entered the cage. Just saying.
Order on the
He
floor.
asked to speak with her, he didn't say come into the cage.
And, but how would you not know, how would he not see her coming into the cage?
Am I like allowed to be talking like this or no?
Are we not allowed to
Okay.
ask them questions if they're not up there? Okay. Do they get a chance to go back up there? Or they don't get to like rebut the
Sorry,
rebut?
that's how it works.
They don't get to like rebuttal the rebut?
No.
Okay, carry on. Thank you.
But Miss Smith was in the batting cage talking to Coach Miller, but he couldn't stop his son from practicing to avoid this. He let him keep practicing, and she got injured. He could have stopped his son. He knew she was in there.
Alright. Justices, you have further questions? Thank you for. Any further questions for the petitioner?
Okay, due to, Coach sending home papers and you being the team mom, were you unaware of the paper being sent home? Just because of the situation?
My son was very irresponsible.
Were you not involved with anything involving the papers considering you're so close with the team's activities?
He never told me about it.
That's,
Alright. Court is adjourned for a short recess while the justices rule or go over their ruling.
okay, we go into the pod, right?
Let's go.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yes. Clerk, you'll be writing up their rationale and holding. Okay, court will now resume.
Alright, so our ruling was unanimous. We think the prior, like,
Prior
prior ruling should consist, should stay. Affirm, that word.
And your rationale? Mr. Miller had brought up a lot of good points on why it shouldn't have happened, and a lot of the things that Mrs. Smith had said kind of contradicted herself. Her attorney or her just sort of contradicted herself, and a lot of the things that she said kind of made it seem like she could have done it differently to where she wouldn't have gotten it.